And now a word from our sponsors.
All right, y'all, we're back. New episode of Word from our sponsors. It's your host, Ricky. I got my boy Jabari Davis stepping into the building. Jabari, how you feeling today, bro?
Not bad. I appreciate this invitation.
Absolutely, man. I am at a crossroad in my life, my brother. I like to think of you as my big bro on the timeline. You've been a step, I'll just say a half step of where I'm trying to go in this thing called life. But I am now at the time where I'm just seeing remakes of all of my childhood movies, right? Hollywood, they don't think of too many new stuff no more these days. So I just got to prepare for all of my old school, films just back on the screen with new actors and just a minor twist of just all CGI work. But nevertheless, Space Jam 2, A New Legacy is set to drop this Friday in theaters, starring LeBron James, Don Cheadle, and a whole bunch of other A to B-list actors, plus other NBA celebrities, NBA superstars. You got Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Diana Taurasi. So it's setting up to be a star-studded affair. We saw the soundtrack drop. So wanted to bring on my boy Jabari and kind of just take a walk down memory lane and how you remember the original Space Jam movie, what you expect out of this LeBron-led sequel or remake, however you want to call that. And then let's jump into these top 5 childhood movies of all time, man. But let's just start at the beginning.
All right.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, for all intents and purposes, was the biggest name on the planet besides Michael Jackson in 1997. Would that be accurate, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Top two.
The 80s were the three Mikes. It was, Mike Tyson, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson fell off a little bit, but in the 90s, it was definitely still Mike and Mike.
Okay. So he could have put out a Pootie Tang album with him saying nothing, and it would have sold. So my first memory of the Space Jam movie, I was 5, 6 at the time. So I'm just hearing this, and when that song came, everybody get up, it's time to play. I'm losing it. I had the little tight rim in the living room. I was just getting it, practicing all my I was fucking shit up for all intents and purposes, man. Where were you in 1997, and how did you take in the Space Jam movie?
So what I love most about, my Twitter experience is how it has opened me up. Not that I wouldn't have had conversations of these natures with, people that were younger than me in the past, but it just opens the door for these things. So you said you were 5. I was 18 when that movie came out. So I was a senior in high school. So, wow, yeah, of course, the soundtrack was banging, and I'm sure we're going to get into that, title track, especially, in the preview, got you going and whatnot. But I think I had, while, yes, it's still a classic, it's still very much a meaningful movie. I may not hold it with such reverence as I would have say I had watched it as a child.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think we're going to start off with, it didn't hit the same that it hit for me as a 5-year-old as you as an 18-year-old, which would make sense, I guess.
It's
a movie. In the mode of, you was looking for cheeks at the time. Right? Did you roll up there with your friends? Was you there with a little shorty? What was the situation, man?
Yeah, I'm a freshman. I'm a senior in high school, freshman in college when that came out. So again, it's always with any bit of content, it's a matter of or at least oftentimes a matter of when it hits for you. So like I said, if I was 5, 6 years old rolling around, or even 10, 12 years old rolling around, it would have been everything to me. Look, it's still a good movie, and to be honest with you, as much as on the timeline I talk mess about it, because I do, I'm really just messing with folks. I went back and watched it, and it holds up better than even better than I anticipated. Now, it isn't because of the graphics, and it isn't necessarily because of Mike's performance. Nope. A lot of Bill Murray, helping things out. A lot of Newman. I forget the actor's name. A lot of Newman helping things out.
Yeah, that's Wayne Newman, man. I was going to say that dude. And out of all the people, Wayne Newman as the heel in that movie was perfect. That boy, he had a lock also for me. He has a special spot because of Jurassic Park and his role in that. And I'm just like, man, you are certified for me as just an actor that I'm just going to hold in high reverence, you know what I'm saying? But what jumped out, so you're watching it, right? You're working your way through it. It's a kid's movie. Let's just keep it real. Everyone just went to see it because it was Michael Jordan and the biggest NBA stars at the time. So what stood out to you most as you worked it through it in the remake or when you were just thinking back on it?
Honestly, it was that Mike was so bad. It's so awkward. And here's the reason why. So look, this is the reason why it hurt a little bit because Mike, like my generation, and especially the generation before me, we saw Mike as the most charismatic, the coolest dude in the world. Like straight up, the coolest cat ever. And then like later on in life, we realized like, damn, he was wearing the massive wash jeans for a long time. And damn, he was wearing like all of those scenes kind of like, exactly. They kind of stand out a little bit more to you. Look, Mike always going to be the cool, one of the coolest ever for me. But looking back on it was more of just like, wow, for one, right off the top, like, you nailed it. It's a kid's movie. So like, don't expect Oscar worthy performances, but specifically because it was geared to make things easy for the, for the athletes and, like, they didn't really have to do a lot of the, like the heavy lifting. What stood out was just like that it was actually still a quality story, even with the cringy moments. Yeah.
I mean, I can't really, because I haven't probably seen the first Space Jam in years, right? I'm just holding on to those memories, and that's probably for the best in certain situations, the thought of it than the actual product itself. But I'm trying to think back at like scenes that I was just like, oh my God, that was so funny, or I'm rolling. I can't really put my finger on an actual scene where I was just dying, right? Or just, I can tell you bar for bar, every dialogue in it, which goes to show just like how much that movie kind of just skated over, really getting into being a good movie. But that's not what you expect from most kids' movies. But, I can think back to a few children's movies, right, that I could just spit off word for word. But I guess it wasn't for that. It was supposed to be easy for the NBA.
It was the names, the big, the big names on across the board. It's a blockbuster, much like kind of what I'm anticipating out of this one coming up.
Yeah, the one thing that will not be replicated though is that damn soundtrack. I lost it. I'm going through this list, and I don't know how in the world they just put a composition of songs like this together. First of all, we'll just start with number one. Welcome to the Space Jam. Might be the best soundtrack song on the history of soundtrack songs, and I'm going to just be extra with that. Please walk me back down to earth.
You're a little bit extra with that, but I'm not mad. But I'm not mad at it because bear in mind the Purple Rain soundtrack exists, and like there's other sound. Yeah, like
this is very true.
Now again, this is a generational thing. So like there are people that would say like, Purple Rain soundtrack. I haven't listened to that. I've never. But look, for my generation, that's day one. That's day one.
Yeah, that's still Purple Rain, period. Everything, it falls below that on the Space Jam soundtrack. Okay, I can see to that, but still, goddammit, that's what held the movie together was that soundtrack.
It is great. And it's got that one Scarlet Letter on there. We got to be honest about that. And I mean no disrespect. You from Chicago, right?
Yeah. So, and it's still something that it's not solved yet within the city. I'll go with my auntie's house. Some aunties, they just makes its way in the mix. Some aunties, they skip or they took it out altogether, right? But I Believe I Can Fly is an amazingly perfectly placed song in a movie.
It is an incredible track. Like, look, it still gets played in some of my relatives' homes. It doesn't get played in my home. I'm not judging you. You do what you do. If you're able to compartmentalize and you say like, oh, I'm going to separate the artist from the art, that's fine. Just so with certain artists, when you know that their art was kind of inspired by the life that they were living, it's difficult for me to, it's difficult for me to,
Absolutely.
Go there. But that's not
number is disturbing. It is a disturbing song. Go back through the entire catalog, bro. Like all them jams was about that. So So I'm sorry, Space Jam soundtrack. Absolutely fantastic. The last point that I just want to bring up about that song, because we don't even have to mention the artist. The last point is the significance of it in the Black community.
Oh yeah,
that song used to be played at weddings, funerals, graduations,
at church, Yes.
Just, the choir was
just
singing
out of nowhere.
this.
Why are we singing? Oh, okay.
It turned into a gospel song, brother. And it so much, it turned old boy thinking into it. He was a gospel artist, which was a really wild time in music back then, too. Yes. But the number one thing that stood out to me about I Believe I Can Fly is how young Black children of my generation turned that into a song about the U.S. government killing us. I believe I can fly. I got shot by the FBI. All I wanted was some chicken wings from McDonald's or Burger King. I'm sure at 18 and beyond, you were not repeating that, but there were plenty of times on the playground where that was the remix to I Believe I Can Fly. Do you remember that version?
I did not hear that version, but
I'm
you know what?
Crying, bro.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Different experiences in life. If I had gone to the schools that I preferred to go to, I probably would have heard those. I was being sent to schools that you might not necessarily would have heard the real version or the remix. You weren't hearing too many remixes. You weren't hearing too many remixes back then.
No, yeah, I have no idea how that remix originated. All I knew is that was the playground jam then. Just, wanted some chicken wings from McDonald's or Burger King and ended up getting clapped by the FBI. So that's my lasting memory of that song. But I mean, beyond those two, there's still Fly Like an Eagle.
Oh yeah.
By Seal, which I had to look up. I didn't know that was Seal. Again,
I'd forgotten until you said by Seal. I was like, oh yeah, that was Seal.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Then, I mean, it's a remake of a classic song, but that his rendition is fantastic.
See, and you just educated me on that. I didn't. You know what? I don't want to know that. Actually, Seal's the only person that made that version.
He's the originator, none greater.
Then you got if I were to marry a woman outside of my age bracket, it would be Miss Monica. For You, I Will. I thought she was singing to me back then.
Brother, you were confused because she was singing to me. She was singing to me. Now,
okay, so that song was for you, actually. Which would make sense. Age range, I guess it would.
Age appropriate, 18 versus like 5. I mean, I don't want. We can't cancel Monica retroactively. So let's just say she was singing to me.
Say she was singing to you. Yeah, you're right. No, she went through it, bro. Like going through them bars. I'm like, this is a love song. Talking about crushing the ocean and bringing the moon. Come on now, Monica. And this is supposed to be part of the kids soundtrack. Had me out there thinking this is what love is. She's only 17, 18 at the time of this. That's what I want to remind people. Monica's my age. So at that time, she couldn't have been more than like 18, maybe 19 at the most. Bringing that. See, incredible. What I like to hold on to is she was married to Proviso East's very own Shannon Brown. And he used to hoop with my cousins at Proviso. So that was like my connection. Like, well, my cousin's only like 4 years older than me. And like she married down to his age. So technically I could if I make it to the league, maybe I could be if my career path would have went a little bit better than now, I think this would have been the perfect time to pull up on Monica, with her situation. I would have been like, hey, you remember that song, For You, I Will? I'm ready, baby.
I would have even lied to her and told her that she won that versus.
Okay, so you would say Brandy greater than Monica?
Listen, Brandy had hits, and this is you know how this goes. You can be incredible, you can be great at singing. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not you're not coming up with as many hits as the other person, they gonna win a versus.
That's true. Because I didn't even know I knew some of those Brandy songs. I was like, damn. Okay.
She was on some jams and she had some collabs that was nice. I cannot deny it. Even though I was Team Monica, because back then, so folks that were my age, it was like, with the Boy Is Mine deal, it was like, are you Team Monica or are you Team Brandy? I was always Team Monica.
I had to go Team Brandy because she was on Nickelodeon at the time. And I see her. I was like, she in Beast I don't even know about. But it's you know the whole thing. At night when she would show up on all that, and I just fall in love all over again with a little Kango hat on, and everything else was the same matchy little furry. That was the time. Did you have a Kango hat, bro?
I had a couple Kango hats. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, man. Hey, look, it was a time. It was a time.
I feel you, bro. It wasn't hot out on the West Coast. That damn hat on.
Of course it was. And in the late '80s, if you could get like a bootleg Kango or a bootleg bucket cap, you couldn't tell us we wasn't LL out there. You could not tell us we wasn't.
So LL had the vice grip at the time. Everybody, that was because the last song I wanted to bring up was "Hit 'Em High" with Busta and LL Cool J, and that was still. All I know is this new Space Jam better have songs lined up perfectly to what's going on, because I think that's my lasting impression of the original Space Jam. Every single song made perfect sense for that scene, or they either made it, redid it, remixed it. So, even the monsters coming in. Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high.
Yeah. Hey, you got me going just from saying that.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, it was, everything just lined up perfectly, all the way up to the very end with the song that we talked about before. So, I'm honestly thinking back in my lasting memory on Space Jam, it's not Mike. It's not the other NBA athletes. It's not Donald Duck and the Looney Tunes and stuff. It's the damn music.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. That's why I love Space Jam so damn much, was from the intro and them going through them highlights of Jordan on the Bulls, bro. Like, I was here. Like, I was a little too young to appreciate, like, obviously the first three-peat, but I was in the city at my grandma's house, motherfucker, shooting out the back side of the porches because the Bulls won the championship, and that's just what it is. That's gunshots of celebration back in the late 90s for the Bulls, and then they just redoing it with that song by the Quad City DJs, which I did not know also came out with Come On and Ride It.
Oh, yeah.
You know that was them.
1,000,000%, dog.
Okay.
Come and ride that train. Look, like, that was my music back then. Like, hype music, getting especially anything out of Miami, out of that area with that type of sound. I was all for it. 100%.
So it made sense that they had the intro. They was hot before this Space Jam track.
They were appropriate for that. They made like that type of anthem music that was appropriate.
Okay, you're goddamn right. You know what's not, and I guess as we transition into expectations out of the new movie, I heard a couple of joints of the soundtrack. I tried running them through. Did you hear "We Win" or any of the songs off the new soundtrack?
I have not heard any of them. And just to be clear, when I said Quad City and I said Miami sound, like, it's like that, that bass, that Miami bass track, like sound. Just for anybody that was going to be technical, listening to this, watching this, saying like Quad City, that's not Miami. Yes. Either way, the song was banging. Let me ask you this real quick. Obviously, I'm a guest on your show. I don't know these new cats. Who needs to be on the new soundtrack? I mean, obviously, like Drake and but like who are the cats that need to be on the new soundtrack to make this right?
I saw the new soundtrack. If we being honest, like,
you already saw the list. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the list and I ran through a couple of the songs, and like, they're skimming right off the top of names. Like, I think if you still got Chance the Rapper on an album soundtrack in the year of our Lord 2021, like, something's not adding up too much. Like, I think the only thing that really made sense was like St. John and SZA on a song together, and I think St. John's like starting, like, trajectories going up, and obviously SZA's in her prime, so right, that makes a lot of sense. And he's a little oversaturated for me, but I really thought Dub Baby would be on this album, and I did not see him. It seemed like he'd be a perfect high energy, like that's all this is, all the basketball soundtrack should be. High energy and a couple of log songs in between, but
exactly that. But
no Drake though. I think really?
I'm surprised by that, to be honest with you.
I'm
actually surprised.
Obviously, they got Lil Baby. I do not know. I didn't see any Gunner. Right. I didn't see anybody from that camp. Young Thug. I really thought they would lean that direction, but maybe a little too much murder music for the kids movie.
Maybe.
That's what I truly think the issue is. Like,
time out. They got Salt and Pepper linking up with Saweetie and Cash Doll. I actually want to hear that. I actually want to hear that.
One of the worst songs I ever heard.
Oh, are you serious? Oh.
One of the worst songs I ever heard.
come on, man. You can't dig, salt and pepper out the crates. I was gonna say the grave, but you can't dig them out the crates, and have him on a bad one.
And I really think it's because they're sampled on it.
Oh, okay. It's not a collaboration. It's just a sample. Okay.
I honestly, bro, like I couldn't get through to even see if they were at the end. But it was just like about having men jump through hoops, and they, it was one of them ones where it was like, oh boy,
okay,
maybe you should just do like eating reaction videos for a while, and do a couple more rap camps. But nonetheless, yeah, so I do not have high expectations for the soundtrack after seeing the little preview and stuff, which leads me to think, once again, this is a children's movie, but if the soundtrack ain't necessarily hitting. Hey, LeBron, how much fun are you about to be, my man? And from what I've seen in the trailers, it's not going to be, an award-winning performance. Where do you stand on LeBron, the actor?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's surprising to me if he's not at least halfway decent, because I did like him, in Trainwreck. And let's keep it real. I'm going to just run through a couple quick moments where the performances were so incredible. We still will remember them forever. The Be Better moment where he calmly collected his mess.
Yep.
He hit that corner and just dropped that Be Better. My life is still going to be my life, and you are going to wake up with your lives moment.
That was cool.
Hey, the delivery of that, the just matter of factness of it told me, okay, this man could get behind the camera. Look, I didn't love him on Saturday Night Live, but I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily see that as a detriment towards his acting chops. More of just that show has been washed for quite some time. I was very nice there because that was an edited version of what I actually was going to say. But I don't expect him to put up an Oscar-worthy performance. But I think if LeBron is going to put his name to something, obviously something this big, obviously coming behind Mike, knowing what this means, it would surprise me if it's actively bad. But I guess you never know. We'll see.
Our conversations are going to develop over these. Obviously we'll be back on chopping it up, but you'll learn that there are a lot of motion pictures that I just have not seen. But nonetheless, I still like to think I know what I like and I know what I don't like. I also like to think I know what halfway decent acting is and halfway decent writing is and what's unrealistic. LeBron James was able to hit those quotes so perfectly because they're LeBron James quotes.
Yes.
What I saw from Big Dog in Trainwreck was not bad. It was not bad. And I think I had to keep in my mind, this is LeBron's first movie. Yeah, I was like, that hairline is Krispy Kreme donuts. None of this is real, right? Everything is.
It's Hollywood, baby.
It's Hollywood. So good on him. Then I heard him, in that little animated movie, Smallfoot, which is all 100% voiceover work. He's like a Yeti, a big purple Yeti. It's hard. It's hard for me to separate his voice into another character. So was not too crazy about that from what I did watching it. I think the benefit that he has here is it's going to be a half animated, half real life, acting movie. What I'm most interested in, since I don't have the highest expectations of LeBron, the actor period, I'm talking with Don Cheadle, right? And the other, like we said earlier, Zendaya's in the movie. I think she's one of the female characters, but you got Wood Harris. He's the coach. A lot. You can hear who's nailing their lines and who is just like doing their shit. So what I will be comparing LeBron up against are the other NBA athletes and WNBA athletes that are also acting. Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, Diana Taurasi. If Dame gets in there, and I think he is actually like a spider type or whatever creature he is, and I can hear it in his voice, and like he's been practicing this, and it doesn't sound like he's also just about to step into the booth and start freestyling afterwards, and it's the same, dialect word for word. I'm going to notice that. So we'll see. I don't know how many speaking parts Anthony Davis has, but he's been in a couple commercials now. How AD is going to do? So when you think about the lineup, you think LeBron has a good chance to shine against his other athletic peers on set? Because I think it was. Can you remember anybody in the original Space Jam that had memorable quotes that were former NBA players?
Chuck had a line or two. They were mainly just like one-liners. Like they were not challenging those guys. In which they honestly they weren't. I think there'll be more of a challenge for these folks. But the truth of the matter is, I think LeBron breaks everything down to a zero-sum game, and I don't think if he were worried about about one of them outshining him, I don't think they would have been in the movie.
I don't think they would have been there.
That's just the truth, man. That's just
Malcolm Brogdon wasn't going to get a call. I feel like Malcolm Brogdon would have killed any role.
He would have come in ready to go. Like
he's the Rick Fox of his generation. Yeah. Right? He's going to hop into politics or movies as soon as he hangs it up. I'm convinced. Who else would have been a monster? Who you think could have been a great actor, once they switch careers?
Anthony Edwards.
Oh my God.
I just want a camera following him around all the time. All the time.
I don't want to give him lines.
I just want reaction. Exactly. I just want reactions. Don't script that. Don't script that. Anthony, what do you think should be said?
Right. What do you want to say if somebody said this to you? But yeah, perfect. We gonna write that down, get that in. No, Anthony Edwards would be at A1. I also think you take, I'm trying to think of the guys. I think Kelly Oubre can fit into a typecasted role pretty quickly, right? The pretty boy say a couple things. Yep. Right, and then folks will be, oh my God, did you see Kelly Oubre in the Heels guest appearance?
He was so incredible. Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Is he my husband?
Mm-hmm. Right. We're about to see that transition of, actors. And don't get this wrong. Michael Jordan was not the first at all to be doing this whole NBA athlete still playing the game while making movies, right? Kareem has the most famous appearance in a movie, I would argue, in Airplane. That's one folks always, when they spit out, that's not just about, a Michael Jordan movie. They say Kareem in Airplane. We also talk about White Man Can't Jump. Say again?
I said, and Game of Death. Kareem battling Bruce Lee. Have you ever seen the poster of Kareem kicking out at Bruce Lee?
No.
Kareem was in a Bruce Lee movie, bro. You didn't? Oh, you need to. Okay.
What?
Look, you need to go back and watch it. Kareem
I need to get the list going.
Kareem was out here throwing kicks.
What's the name of the song?
Game of Death. Game of Death. Yes. Yeah. Check it out. It's good.
Okay. All right. So Kareem in a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget about dead by the time I was born. When did Bruce Lee die?
Yeah, probably. The late 70s?
Oh my God. I don't think I've ever seen a Bruce Lee movie, bro.
Yeah, and I understand. My generation. So think about the generation that really loved Bruce was the one right before me. I came in yo, who's this? Yo, who is this? So, they taught me to love him.
Yeah, he was out in 73 at 32.
Yeah, there you go. Early 70s, damn. Yeah.
Prescription painkiller. Okay, so Space Jam.
Yep.
A new legacy. Looking forward to that coming out this Friday. My son will be turning 3 in October, so still probably a little too young to understand what's going on. But are they doing the whole thing where in theaters and then HBO Max will have it as well?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that is what I heard. Yeah, I'll be sitting on the couch watching it on HBO Max. Y'all go do your thing in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be watching it over the course of 2 days, I'm sure, because there are no just sit through an entire damn movie with my son. But I'm looking forward to it, man. And this whole conversation, it just got me thinking, where did Space Jam actually rank in my childhood movies? Because I'm watching it, I'm watching the trailers, I'm looking at the soundtrack, and I was like, damn, I really loved this movie for the memories. And now that I'm realizing I'm talking to you, all the memories because of the goddamn soundtrack. But nonetheless, it's up there in my childhood all-time movie. So I wanted to get your list and also honestly see which one of these I haven't seen. Go back and
probably
watch
none of them.
Probably none of them. So this is going to be an education series for me, and we're going to get a Ricky's movie list going. And the first one's going to be sponsored by you, Jabari. So take me through your top childhood movies, bro.
So what I did was initially I just had 5 old school movies, and I was like, you know what? that's not going to be relatable. So I mixed in two relatively newer movies as well, if you don't mind. All right, so number one, or in no particular order, because I don't care about like real.
This number one, goddamn.
This is 5. Yeah,
right.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Now, not Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the actual original with, I was going to say Gregory Hines. My goodness, oh my goodness, Gene Wilder. Which, by the way, anybody that knows those two individuals will laugh at that. But yeah, the original with Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. I just love that Grandpa is avoiding all of his disability. He got right the hell up to go to that tour.
I appreciate that you bring that up. Anybody that's seen that movie, go back and look. I'm pretty sure they say that man had been in that bed for decades, and he was only like in his 60s. But the moment they brought that ticket in, homeboy hopped up, damn near crip walked on the bed, did a backflip, doing all deadbeat. And Charlie was clearly
collecting them checks, man.
Just getting them checks, man. Living off the you know what? Let me stop.
No, speak the truth because more percentage of them are than we want to talk about.
They take up the bulk of the welfare, but then say it's the black and brown people. Next up is Gremlins. Have you seen Gremlins?
Of course I've seen Gremlins, man. Okay. That movie had me kind of messed up. You throw a little water on Gizmo and company, they losing they shit. That was a cold movie. Yes.
When I saw it back in the day, like that was like groundbreaking. Like that technology that we were like, yo, that shit is real. we legit. Like these days,
kids in the smoke.
Kids would see that now and be like, "What the fuck? What is this little puppet doing? What is this?"
No, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to go back and watch it. That one I had the memories of, and it might be better.
Yeah. It probably is. And then next, I moved one out for Toy Story because even though it came out when I was a little bit older, I think I was a teenager when it came out, if I'm not mistaken. It's a classic movie. It's actually a good ass movie, not just a good ass kids movie. It's a good movie that I can watch as an adult. At any age, show it to somebody fresh, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Little fun fact: Andy and people my age, born in '92. Were the same exact age. So this like really hit for my mom because the year that the Toy Story 3 came out and Andy went to college was the year I was going to college. And she watched it by herself. She in the theater just, me. So I think that was pretty dope. That I literally like grew up with Andy. Now Andy probably working in IT, smoking joints at his buddy's house after work. Doing rideshare because he can't afford to live by himself in this economy. And he actually had to sell Buzz and Woody because they were vintage at the time. And he was able to get about $12,000, but he invested it into Bitcoin. And then when Bitcoin took the dip, he really got into a bad state. So now he's actually back at his mama's place.
Next up was Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh my God, that is my shit. That might have to be on my list. I'm going to consider Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Mm-hmm. That's how you do animation in real life together, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you blend them together, goddammit.
Perfect blend. I can still watch that movie to this day. I haven't watched it in probably like 3-4 years, but the last time I watched it, I enjoyed it. Maybe not the same as I would, but as much as I did. So it definitely held up.
I'm going to say something minorly controversial.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Now, mind you, I am a happily married man to my wonderful, wonderful chocolate wife. I love her to death. Almost going on 5 years. High school sweethearts on her since I was 15.
That's beautiful, man.
But Who Framed Roger Rabbit might be responsible for the weird connection between black men and redheads because of that woman. I forget her name, but because of her.
Jessica Rabbit. Listen.
Yes, it was Jessica Rabbit. I was like, no, she's not a rabbit, but yeah, she was married to what's his name.
I have never thought of that. I've never in my life thought of that. And you know what? For my generation, maybe Molly Ringwald kicked that door open.
Okay.
Just so that Jessica Rabbit could run on through.
Yes.
Because, honestly, that might be the case.
She was the baddest redhead I hadn't seen in my life, dog. And I know she was a cartoon, but I was like, a redhead built like this and they 5'10", and like, well, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I like what I like. So I don't know. I talked about this with my boys before, and it was like, I think it was Jessica Rabbit's fucking fault.
Bro, it might be. Because again, it was appropriate. I was 8 years old when I was watching it, but I definitely was like, yo, who's that?
Right.
Who that right there? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't expect that in the new Space Jam, that's for sure. They done switch everything up. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. All right. And then for the last one, I moved Goonies out. Now, every old head is going to be mad and say, like, how could you do this? Because it's my damn list and get over it. I moved Goonies out because I wanted to bring up one that is absolutely spectacular and obviously more recent. Coco is one of the better movies that I've seen in the last 10 years. One of the better movies that I've seen in the last 10 years. And it might just be that it hit me at the right time, because obviously all media that is a determining factor in how much we enjoy it, or that can be a determining factor in how much we enjoy it. But it hit, and it like, and even though obviously I am not a Latino man, but it felt like they hit on all the points in an appropriate way without being exploitative or taking it in a like in a silly direction, and honestly, it was just a great story of family. So that one hit me. Look, maybe that's me in my old age being like all sentimental, but that one hit for me.
I got that one's on the list. So out of the 5 you named, that one I've not seen. It's perfect because obviously I have a child that would eat that up. So Coco's up. I will report back on Coco within a week, brother. So that's a pristine list. I'm not gonna lie, because I lost it to almost every single one you said. I don't know if we're gonna have the same reaction for my list. So
that's okay. Let's go.
Let's jump up into the mid to late 90s, right? First up on my list is the classic Good Burger. There is not a movie I love more on this planet than Kenan and Kel and Good Burger, bro. Like everything about it.
All right, confession.
Yeah.
I know Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. I've never seen the movie. Because it came. What year did it come out?
Shoot, Good Burger. Let's see. Good Burger had to have been like, I want to say like 99, because Shaq was with the Lakers then.
So there you go. 99. I'm a sophomore.
97. Okay.
Oh, okay. For whatever reason, I just never saw it. And actually, why am I saying for whatever reason? Because I wasn't watching Nickelodeon at that time. I wasn't, like those characters and those actors, they didn't mean anything. They didn't mean anything for me. So the people that were watching it in particular were my little cousins that were 12 and 13, and it was appropriate. And I looked at it like, man, what is this? Get out of here.
Using that in between stage, you're like, I'm not fucking with no young shit no more.
Exactly. Thinking I was grown because I had one or two of these little hairs here, that meant something. But I just never saw it. And you know what? I might need to go back and watch it, specifically because everybody loves it.
It was a good movie. You want to know why it was a good movie? Them boys was funny. Like that was they was funny. Kenan and Kel, and obviously you got Kenan doing Saturday Night Live for all those years, and like his comedy genius it's legit, right? He's royalty. I think Kel kind of fell back on his own. It's hard being like the funny guy for that long, right? Without losing it just a little bit. So as long as he's good, I'm good with it. But like, man, I mean, then you had Carmen Electra in there. She had a role as Roxanne. Yeah, bro. They had a nice little thing up in there. And like I said, about half hour into the movie, they go and do a delivery up to, I think it was the Forum at the time, because that was not Staples Center. And they went and delivered.
Staples Center wasn't even open until 99. So you good.
Yeah, they went to the Forum, and Kenan and Kel had to deliver a burger to Shaq post-game. Kel pulled some pickles out of his burger because Shaq said, "Hey, little man, I made some pickles. I don't want to see any pickles on my burger." So then he throws it on. He's like, "There you go. Consider yourself pickled." And then Shaq goes, "You're not like most people, are you, bro?" Bars. Just, all right. Whole movie. Run it back for me, please.
I'll report back on that one because I'll watch it. I'll finally watch it.
Perfect. All right. Then next up, Goofy movie. A movie I can bar for bar, probably the entire show, or the entire movie, spit you every line. Have you seen it?
Have not seen it. So here we are again. Now,
I've seen your movies. You haven't seen mine. That makes sense,
because mine came out earlier and they were considered classics. And then I was at
95. Now you're back in junior high, bro.
I don't have any excuse. No, I wasn't junior high. I was high school.
No.
I was I was high school. Well, if I graduated in 97, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bet. My bad.
Yeah. No excuse for that one because I definitely was still watching that, that type of stuff at that time.
And that movie was the perfect blend of storyline. A dad and his son bonding on summer vacation, and he trying to get some cheeks and go to a concert.
Wait, I have seen it. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh wait, no, I've seen this. Okay.
Thank you. I feel good. Now we 1 for 2. The only other point I want to make about Goofy movie besides just how amazing it was, and the sequel wasn't bad either, was Tevin Campbell put his fucking foot in that soundtrack. He was Powerline. He wrote all of that shit. I was like, damn, bro. My wife told me that was Tevin Campbell. I'm like, can we talk Tevin Campbell? I thought he was a one-hit wonder. She's like, boy, you better listen to his shit.
Oh no, Tevin had a hit. Tevin had some hits.
My wife's a couple. I've been won't expose my wife. She is wiser than I am, and she puts me on. She knows any song I listen to where that's sampled by some old school shit. She right off the bat, she knows it every single time. So yeah, she'd be putting me on the music. This actually not an original. So,
I like that. I play that role in a lot of my friendships and whatnot. A quick fact about Tevin Campbell: I grew up with his brother DeMario. DeMario was a little bit younger than was like 2 years younger than him. So Tevin's I think like a couple years older than me. That was a very interesting dynamic. Very, very interesting dynamic where, of course, when it's two brothers, one's like 15, one's like 17, there's always going to be
competition.
Some competition. But some of the things that he said about my man, I would always kind of feel bad for him. But I was a Tevin fan.
Yep. I mean, he gets his flowers. I don't know where he's at. And also, I feel like his logo is now being used. Like it's very close. I don't want to say it's the Telfair logo, but there was something about where like a recent logo came out. And I was like, wait, this shit. I think it is Telfair. Where they were like, this is Tevin Campbell's logo, bro. I'll pull it up on the video when we put it out on YouTube. But like, you let me know. Hey, I see Beyonce went and co-signed the bag, so I know my wife ain't gonna get one until 2030. But I'll still be on the lookout. Telfair, if you want to send me a bag, I'll cut this segment out.
What's up, Telfair? Send them 2 bags.
Right. A backup bag, right? That I can divert out to you. So I feel you. Oh, all right. So these next 2 are tied for me. It's a tie between the Goonies and Hook. Robin Williams, Hook. It was a Peter Pan movie. Yeah. And that one, that rendition with Rufio, and I think everybody who appreciated that movie had a spot for Rufio since he got murked at the end too. But like that imaginary food them boys was eating, I thought, man, this is what life would be like if I just close my eyes and imagine. What the hell? What are they eating? Gumdrop ball, pizza, like all types of wild shit. I love that movie, man.
Listen, Hook was one of my movies. I had now I'm gonna take you back. I had the VHS of that.
Yeah,
I had the VHS of that, and I like to the point where I would like retape the box so it years down the line, in order to keep it, to try to keep it.
Yes, to keep it sealed, because the little bubble stuff start to pop off and it can't close no way. Yeah,
exactly. But nah, man, Hook was that movie, man. All the way to the point where I don't know if you watched the show Entourage, but there's an like season 3-ish. Old boy that plays Rufio, pops up in it, and the first thing I said was like, "Rufio! Oh right. Shit, Rufio!"
He's still acting. Okay, good.
Well, no, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
But he was an adult, and it was a little bit weird. But no. So I'm with you on that.
You with me on Hook, and obviously you had mentioned the Goonies before, so that that's a cult classic. You can. No, they crucify us if the Goonies didn't make one of our lists.
It would have been a problem. But here, you know what? Here's a quick Goonies fact. I enjoy it more as an adult than I did as a kid, and here's the reason why. As a kid, I was, it was a movie that everybody said like, "Oh, this is a great movie," so like I was just like, "Yeah, it's great," without actively paying attention to the storyline and getting into the characters.
Same.
It was just one of those where it was just accepted. It was widely accepted. I watched it as an adult and it was like, man, this is actually a good ass movie with a sneaky cast, like a very sneaky cast.
I'm gonna have to look at it again. I think
Joey Pants is in it. Joey Pantalone, I think is how you say his name. He did you watch The Sopranos?
No.
You didn't. God dang. Okay.
Don't expose me, man. You about to start asking stuff and
The Fugitive. Like, you've seen The Fugitive though? No, not The Fugitive. Okay. All right. Got it. Go back through. You'll see.
I gotta look at this man's face. Joey Pantalone.
It'll have actors where it's like, oh, I know that guy, or I know that guy, and even the kids, like Josh Brolin is the older brother.
I know this dude. Yeah,
you definitely know him. Josh Brolin is the oldest brother, and Sean Astin is a little go back through. You know, Corey Haim is in. You know, it's got some.
I know that name too. He had his own show, right? Like he was a superstar, wasn't he?
He was a superstar. It was the Corys. It was Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Yes, and he was the one that got super weird, right?
Well, they both kind of did, and unfortunately, Haim is he passed away. He had some issues. He had some demons. Okay. And I don't even know what Feldman's up to because he had the same demons. But
that's what I'm saying. That's the only one that I remember. And obviously, that's the reason why. So, okay, Goonies certified. Yeah. Are y'all happy? Yeah. We got the Goonies on the list. Okay, please don't spam the comments. Then finally, I just have this is another tie. I knew that Hook and the Goonies were tied for me because I appreciated them on the same level. But this last tie for 5 is ugly. It is between Sandlot, Small Soldiers. Honestly, I took Space Jam off, so it's only a 2. I mean, honestly, after our conversation, I had to take Space Jam off since I just liked it for the music. But it's between Sandlot and Small Soldiers. Have you seen Small Soldiers?
I'm looking it up right now. I do not believe that I have. I love Sandlot. Oh, I know. Okay, I know what movie it is. No, I have not seen it, but I do love Sandlot. So, okay, tell me about Small Soldiers.
Bro, Small Soldiers about, this kid, his dad owns a toy shop. And like he goes to the toy shop, and then there's this big corporation that's trying to make this really like effective G.I. Joe toy, and it's super smart and shit. And then one day they get a shipment of them G.I. Joes, and then they come alive and they start killing niggas, like stringing up the other toys and hanging them type shit, dog. And then you had a black soldier in there. He was smoking a cigar. That boy was crazy. They then had another group of they were the enemies, but they were actually the good guys, right? They were so built up that the soldiers were actually the ones you played with, and you killed the aliens. But the aliens were the good people, little toys. So the boy discovers, he comes back into the toy shop, just sees a murder scene. All the toys, Barbie hung up, she ain't got no clothes. It was bad, right? He sees the survivors, the Gorgonauts or whatever the hell they are. He takes them home. Tried to figure some shit out because his dad's mad that the whole toy shop got fucked up and he was supposed to see it. He's talking to the little Gorgonaut. Gorgonaut's like, bro, they are coming. They are on their way. And the boy's like, what you talking about, man? You are a talking toy. Who's coming? Man, them toy soldiers pulled up to old boy crib, kidnapped his babysitter. Bro, I can never think of corn holders the same way because of this movie. You know, the yellow corn holders. Bro, they took over like a little SUV, rolled through somebody's house, tied up the babysitter, and when the dad walked in, they had them corn holders on like a little rocket launcher, bro. They stuck his ass, man. I was done for because they were really about that shit, and they were about to fuck shit up if somebody didn't come and stop them.
Your breakdown alone is honestly enough to make me want to watch this movie alone. But I just looked it up and look at this cast. Phil Hartman is incredible. Tommy Lee Jones, Jay Moore was funny back then. Dennis Leary was funny back then. Frank Langella, Chris, like this was an excellent cast,
was it not?
David. So basically, what they did, Michael McKean, they took a bunch of like established, not just established actors, but established comedic actors and worked them in. And yeah, I can already tell just from the casting that this is a good movie. That this is a quality movie.
It was one of those movies where it was like, I feel like this is a kid's movie too much. Like, there's a lot going on for it to be a kid's movie, but I'm in it. Yeah, 1991. So honestly, because I gave y'all Goonies, I'm going to take Sandlot out and keep Small Soldiers as my number 5 spot.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. I'm wondering, the Black Soldier, was that Butch Meat Hook?
Yes.
It's played by Jim Brown. That's funny.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Oh my God, that was Jim Brown. That's right. Yes. Dog, I really did love that movie. The more I talk about it, the more I realize like that was the movie to watch. So yeah, you gotta watch Small Soldiers. That
will do.
Niggas were getting killed with pepper. With pepper. Like niggas had a flamethrower from the outside grill. The propane lighter, the little lighter. But I'm like, where they do this shit? I never thought of my household utilities the same again because of that movie. So
they had G.I. Joe, MacGyver, and taking over the neighborhood. I'm not mad at that. Okay, I'll check it out.
The supercharged evil toy soldiers. I love it. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, man. I mean, Space Jam it's coming. The sequel. The remake, I don't know how is LeBron referring this to it, as a remake or a sequel? It's a different story.
I think it's a sequel, not a remake. Yeah, because
everything happened before already. Then
it exists within the Space Jam universe, basically. Yeah,
the Space Jam universe. So all right, so it's gonna be real digital. It's gonna be a little Tron-y from what I see. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Obviously, our time has passed. The sun has risen and set on our childhoods, Jabari. But what we have going for us is we have that back knowledge of knowing, like, what still hit as a good child movie and the ability to appreciate what works for children today. So my hopes are not through the roof for it. Trust me, especially after reviewing that soundtrack. But it should make a lot of LeBron fans' children very happy. Don't you agree?
It'll do well. Honestly, it could be. Let's keep it real. It could be dog mess, and it's gonna do. It has enough big names and enough backing that it's going to do well. I think it's probably going to be pretty good because, like I said, I just don't see LeBron. Straight up, I don't see him permitting it to be released if it sucked. Like it's just secret. And I know he doesn't run the studio, but you know what I mean. I just don't. I would be stunned.
If this movie is resemblance of LeBron's first year with the Lakers, he didn't have control over that one either, and look how that turned out. So,
well, that would mean the movie would be over 45 minutes in. So,
hey, if I find a hole in this movie and LeBron could have saved all this shit within the first 15 minutes, but he decided to take a nap and not go to his son's game, going to be disappointed.
Look, I'm not just like I didn't. Look through the original for plot holes. I'm not necessarily going to worry about this one.
I got to do it.
It's a movie about aliens. It's a movie about aliens taking over the bodies of people and then challenging them for like some intergalactic, basketball tournament. So you're kind of suspending, reality to begin.
That's fair. And, I think though the first wrinkle in this movie is that it's actually LeBron's son that gets kidnapped, and now he needs to go and get him, apparently. I don't know how the NBA players ended up like that, but it essentially looks like a video game, surrounded by virtual reality. But nonetheless, we're going to see it. We're going to check it out. We're going to support our Los Angeles Laker, LeBron James, as he had an early start, unfortunately, to this press tour. But it is what it is. Him and Anthony Davis had plenty of time to recover and recuperate and, walk red carpets. Not mad at him. They're still
it'd be better playing, but
right. The rent is due when you come back from reaping the benefits of just being, they're just superstars. So more power to you. But that'll probably do it this week, though. Jabari, thank you so much for stopping by the show, man. You took me down memory lane. You put me on to a couple things I'm gonna have to think back on. Last thing. Quad City DJs is from Jacksonville.
Oh, they were from Florida. Oh, okay. I don't feel so bad, even though like Floridians are like Miami is not all of Florida, and obviously Jacksonville is far away. Whatever. Right. Florida sound, you guys get it.
To folks outside of Florida, y'all are one state. So
okay.
Hey. So you had that one right. But no, I appreciate you coming through, brother. Real quick, why don't you just quickly tell the folks what you're working on these days? I know you are a busy man with all your endeavors.
Man, I really appreciate it, and kind of like you said, this really took me down memory lane, and you put me on some movies that I look forward to watching. So I definitely appreciate this opportunity. 19 Media Group is what I've been working on, and it's as simple as this. It was a few of us that had been in the field, one way or another, whether we were, writer, like NBA writers or podcasters or radio hosts or what have you. And we had plenty of different experiences with other companies, and some positive, but others, how it goes. Yeah. So we just finally said, like, if we're going to be grinding and doing this as passion projects, why not combine our passion? So a few of us got together, 19 Media Group. We're still putting out the same type of content. Unfortunately, Dunstan Discourse is no longer. But I was very fortunate that I've got my guys Warren Shaw and Cal Lee. They do the NBA Baseline podcast. They asked me to join them. Other shows on the mix, and I'll try not to make this a BET awards accepted still, but other shows in the mix are Never Meet Your Heroes with my friend Tanisha Singleton, Dr. Tanisha Singleton, where we're going to take you down memory lane, but we're going to ruin some memories for you because all of our heroes have it in their have some stuff in their back and in their history. And again, it's not to shame anybody into not, still supporting the people that you choose to support, but it's just to kind of shed light on, hey, this is also in that bag. Anyhow, plenty of other shows, in the mix, but anybody that's interested, you can find me on Twitter. You guys know where to find me, or directly at 19mediagroup.com.
Oh man, that'll do it for this week. A word from our sponsors. We'll check in with y'all next week. For my boy Jabari, it's Ricky. We out.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.